Nah, I'm good. Sorry, man.
Yeah, dude, no, I feel you.
That whole chat, bro. Awe. So, Khwezi, where are we?
Mozambique.
Mozambique.
Mozambique, Cavendish.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I think we've been working on something, and there's a bit of history behind it. But the first thing I want to ask you, Kwezi, right? The first thing I want to ask you is a year ago, when it comes to like ideas, when it comes to startups, when it comes to building a product and adding value to people's lives in some way, shape, or form, did you have something on your mind? And if you did, what was that? Yeah,
Do I need to hold this?
not close, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we all have ideas, right? And like, I think my main idea was, as someone who like frequents the local music scene in Cape Town, I just felt like there was a huge like pool of talent in terms of like the musicians. So many talented musicians in Cape Town, so many great artists, local artists that, quite frankly, like match the music that I listen to, which would be international artists, or even better in some instances, because it's like with local music, you can relate to it. It almost sounds like lullabies. It's stuff you grew up hearing. Your mom was maybe singing that kind of stuff, or stuff your parents were playing that kind of music. So it just easily was more relatable. So I had a guitar teacher who like um, noticed the kind of music that I liked, and he told me, "Listen, there's this band performing, pull through. I think you may like them." I went and I was just blown away. But I think what shocked me more was that like I never knew about them, and I'd been in Cape Town for like over 3 months at that point. So, long story short, my idea, at least the problem I recognize, is that there's a lot of music locally, but maybe people just don't know about it. And is there some way where we could take people's listening history and link it to the music that's already happening around them? So that was my main idea. And like, in terms of executing or it becoming a reality, I always had this misconception that like I had to like know the right people, or I had to know everything to get started. And it's funny, this guy sitting right here next to me, he was in Cape Town for his consulting work, and I was just telling him about this idea. And he was the one guy who was always challenging me. So what are you going to do about it? What are you building? Like, what? Let's see something. Let's do something. And I've never had someone hold me accountable like that. And it really challenged me to like, okay, if this is what you want to do, what does a simple version look like? And starting from like first principles, like just don't think about it on a large scale. Don't think about it like on an Airbnb scale where we all like use these apps. And at least with me, I was always like, if you're gonna build an app, it needs to be an Instagram on day one, which is not realistic. So long story short, I'd start building what I thought was necessary. Then I'd stop. I'd just have these like stop start. These long bouts would happen for months. And every time we'd speak, he just always asked me about it. Bro, let's do this. Bro, let's do this. Up until one day he was like, dude, let's actually do this. Let's have a meeting. Let's structure it. And funny enough, my mini idea fit into his idea of like plans. Like, actually having an itinerary or a platform that allows you to like if you want to have dinner at this place, you can pick there, or it essentially will get to a point where you can plan out your whole day, essentially, from daily activities to dining to nightlife, etc. So in that whole idea, at least the idea I had was like a component of that. So I don't know, maybe it was like the stars aligning that like we linked up, because it's like one piece of the bigger puzzle. I was sitting with one piece of the bigger puzzle, and it's like kind of been really awesome coming together, trying to conceptualize this thing, trying to build it, trying to get it in front of people for the first time. You know, um, But I could ramble. Please.
Can I say one thing, which is the stars really did align, right? So I remember I was staying in, and it's so crazy. So I was staying in Woodstock, and I think Khwezi was staying in Obs, right? And obviously we know each other from varsity, but we hadn't really spoken in a hot minute. And then I was walking back from the offices where I'm doing consulting work, and I was walking along a street called Albert Road or Albert Street or something like that, which was crazy. I'm walking, then I see this dude walking towards me, and I'm like, looks kind of familiar, and then I see his Khwezi. I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah.
And then we start chatting, start connecting. You were coming from Capoeira, right? And then we just start, like, we literally just connected, and then we spoke, and then we caught up, and then that's when it started, right? That's when it started having the conversation. Then towards the end of last year, that's when we were like, yo, we're gonna do this thing, right? And I think the interesting thing, for me at least, is we didn't overthink it. It was more, okay, we've got an idea, right? We've got a vision of what it looks like. We didn't spend too much time refining the requirements, which is something you should do, but we didn't spend too much time, but we did give it some energy, some effort. We determined what the MVP would be, so what the minimum viable product would be. And we set a deadline, which was December, because we were like, yo, in December, everyone wants to go out, so let's build something where people can go to a platform and get ideas for events, right? We're not like, inventing the wheel from scratch. Like, we're basically just creating something that exists currently in a lot of Instagram pages. But we did it, right? We actually did it. We met our deadline. We hit the milestone. We created a platform that was live, that was accessible to anyone through the internet. And we showed it to a few people, got some feedback, right? And we even had someone else. We had an intern.
Yes.
We had an intern.
Yes.
And it was amazing. But one other thing that I really want to add is we worked with what we could, right? So we committed 3 hours a week every Monday, and that's what got us to a point of having an app that was live that people could actually use, and it's WHATSTHEPLAN.life. Which, yeah, and we did that. But now, and this is a question I'm going to pose to Khwezi. Currently, at this very moment, what's the plan?
What's the plan?
What's the plan?
What's the plan tonight? What's the plan tomorrow morning? That's an open-ended question.
It is.
So, be more specific.
It's like, bro.
Tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening.
So, what's the plan with what's the plan, right? And yes, there are multiple layers to that, right? I mean, one of the reasons I'm here today, being Thursday, so I do have some stuff happening next week, during the week that I'm here for, but the reason I came early is specifically for something, right? And that feeds into something else, right? Which is basically just a bunch of different events feeding into each other to create a plan, right? But now I'm asking the context of what's the plan? What's the plan?
In terms of what we're building, in terms of where we're going with what's the plan. So I think we did a soft launch in December. And then in Jan, we took a bit of a break to strategize, go back to the drawing board, see what worked with V1, and some of the things that we're looking at introducing into the platform is activities. Activities in that it's not just about nightlife, it's not just about music. You can also go on there. Maybe there's someone who has some sort of seminar or some physical activity. Maybe I decided to say, hey guys, put out a hiking event on Cricket, and I'm like, guys, join me. So we want to be able to include those kind of events as well. And another feature is the dining feature as well, where it's not just about, again, groove and activity. Maybe you get hungry sometimes and you want to be able to In the same way that you can go search on Google or Dine Plan, to look for different places to eat, we want to have that on our platform as well. So it's really just about adding the different components that are needed to now fully say what is the plan, in the sense that, like, from the moment you wake up to when you go to bed, what's the plan should be able to answer that for you. So yeah, to get there, currently we have events, so we just want to add activities on top of that. We want to add dining and chain those together, and that sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan to me, So yeah.
Literally, no, shout out to that, bro. Shout out to that. And I think the interesting thing about this is that we're living what's the plan, right? Like when you're building something, it's very easy to fall into the trap of assuming a problem and then, rather finding a solution and then assuming a problem. And then just saying, we built this thing and it does solve this problem or solves this problem, right? But in our case, we experienced certain things that we knew and connected with deeply. Such as, for myself, not knowing where I want to go, what I want to do, right? Kind of confusing plans when I have a lot of people that might want to do things. Like, there's a lot of problems. But I think right now what we decided was to kind of narrow down into one of them, which is essentially finding good events, music events to go to, but then using data as a tool to help recommend events for people to go to, right? So as Khwezi did mention, we want to do the activities, we want to do dining experiences, all of that. We want to chain them together to create plans, but kind of keeping it very, very lean. We want to focus on one thing, refine that to the point where we're really able to add different, unique value to people, and then start branching off into the other specific features of the platform. But right now, the plan is we're going to eat dinner. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go for a hike. And it's a very cool hike because it's like for startup founders. And Khwezi told me about it. He went on one. He's like, bro, it's amazing. You should come. So hopefully we'll be able to connect with really cool people. And then also see how something like this could fit into what's the plan, right? Which I think is going to be really exciting. And then we are going to do some work over this weekend. Since, we're here, Khwezi's been, gracious enough to host me. So I'm going to be with him over the weekend, and we're going to get some work done, do some dev work. And hopefully we can launch sometime in March, this version 2. And we're also looking to onboard one person onto the team who is like the culture curator, who, has a good feel for what everyone's craving, because we have identified our market as young black professionals, right? So that's kind of like the market that we want to cater to. And this is our first video, but we want to do a lot more of these, some when we're out really experiencing plans, some when we're literally just coding and having dev talks, but we wanted to share the journey with whoever's interested in watching. And also for ourselves, I think it would be cool to look back and be like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look what we were doing back then. But yeah, it's going to be a journey, and plans always change. But I think
That's
what
a
we
bar. That's a bar. That's a bar.
plans always change, but as long as you're asking the question, what's the plan? You're good. You're good. Yeah. Last words.
It's going to be a great weekend. We're going to get a lot done. We're going to get a lot done. The food just actually arrived. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to get a lot of work done. We're going to see Cape Town. Hopefully we get to take you along with us, starting with tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll try to take some content up there. And quite a few friends that we want to catch up with. Jock already invited us to. There's Major League DJs. There's some event happening. There's some parking lot that they're having this event in. So he sent me the Quicket link to that. So what's the plan? What is the plan? It's hiking, eating this great dinner, working, coding, and catching up. And we'll be in the same space for this weekend, which I think is super special, which I'm super excited for. And I just love the energy that that's going around right now. I hope this energy carries us through difficult moments. There'll be times when sacrifices have to be made, but it's in those moments it's always about remembering what it is, what the vision is, and what you're trying to achieve, and the potential that this has to add value to other people in the same way that I feel like it's already added value for us on the smallest scale that we currently are on. So yeah, and to the third person who's going to join our team, welcome in advance, and we cannot wait to work with you.
Bless, bless.